Kansas wins its 4th national championship in program history. Kansas and Bill Self. Bill Self wins his 2nd national championship in program history. And what I thought was cool about it was David McCormick. Like, I'm a big David McCormick fan. David McCormick, you heard yesterday, my friend Scott Pollard spoke to how most folks with Kansas that have pride in Kansas, that love Kansas basketball, maybe played at Kansas, coached at Kansas, feel about David McCormick. David McCormick is inconsistent. David McCormick is this, that. There's always a but with David McCormick. Yeah, he's really good, but, he can really go to the rim, but he's got a really nice touch, but, And if anything in life has taught me, everything said before the but doesn't matter once the but is said, right? Hey, Dan, you could be really handsome, but, hey, Dan, you could be really skinny, but. We all know this, but David McCormick is that guy. So all David McCormick did was, I think, he's the player of the year in the tournament, and we'll get to that and other things. We'll get to awards down the line here in this show. But man, oh man, was I happy to see that kid go on the block and basically will his way to a couple buckets. Obviously, he felt more comfortable with Baycott out with the ankle. Obviously, when he saw Brady Manick down in there, he thought to himself, mouse in the house, baby, I'm going to work. And he did. But here's the thing about that. There are a lot of guys that are 3 o'clock hitters. What does that mean, Dan? Or 3 o'clock shooters. Dudes that look great in batting practice. 3 o'clock. Games at 7. Dudes that look great. Man, can he shoot in practice? Games at 7. And there's also this deal where, this deal where a lot of guys score in the first half. National championship, late in the game, down 1, need a bucket. That's blank cutting time. That's, woo, baby. And you know what David McCormick did? Dave McCormick went right down on the block. You know Dave McCormick graduated college in 3 years? You know David McCormick working on a master's? Did you know that? When you hear all this crapola about college basketball, all you hear is the crapola. The crapola was out the window during this NCAA tournament. You know what this was? This was dudes balling. Only Indiana got caught up in, we beat Wyoming and we're going to TikTok, and then didn't show up. You can TikTok all you want, but you got to show up. And you got to show up and show up and show up and then show out late. And I got to tell you, it's what Kansas did, down 15. Look, ain't no speech down 15. People say, what was said in the locker room? Well, a lot of things. But you got to come out and play. All right, let's go through the game. First half started out great for Kansas. Here's what the broadcast crew missed. There was no offensive basketball on the perimeter by Kansas in the last 10 minutes of the first half. They kept, you got to feed McCormick. No, you don't feed McCormick. No, and Charles Barkley, God love him, but he had it wrong too. He said the game plan was to go to McCormick. No, it wasn't. The game plan got shut down by North Carolina in the first half. Why? Because Kansas relaxed. Kansas got off to a great start, thought they were going to get this done, and you could see all of a sudden their hand action wasn't as good. Their big step where you take your feet and you slide your feet was slow. They were late to help defensively. They did not cut hard offensively. So all of that offensively for Kansas meant they had nowhere to go because guess what? North Carolina's got pride. North Carolina got in a stance. North Carolina got after the perimeter. So they had to throw the ball inside to McCormick. There was no other option. Abaji was jogging through cuts. Remy Martin wasn't an influence. He was horrible in the first half. And he was horrible because he was too cool. Cool is for the club, people. Cool is not for the national championship game. Kansas was obviously the better team when they played. You saw it in the second half, but getting to play that way was difficult. Everybody had it wrong yesterday when they were watching the game. Well, they're trying to force feed. Well, you got to establish McCormick. No, you don't. Kansas got back in that game because they established a perimeter offensively and defensively. Let me go through it. Defensively, I don't know if you noticed, but Caleb Love didn't get very many shots. In fact, Caleb Love and Davis went a combined 10 for 41. Didn't have many good looks. Why? Because I told you in the video the quickness of Kansas could influence the shooting of North Carolina, and it did in the second half when they got desperate, when they decided to play the way they should. So you start guarding defensively, and this is what the broadcast crew missed in the first game. In the first game, the reason Kansas shots were going in, if you've ever coached or you know anything about college basketball, is because of how hard Kansas was playing defensively. Shots from good shooters go in when they are totally locked into the game, and that includes defense. Shots do not go in, bad shots get taken, lazy drives get made when you're not engaged. That's what you saw the second half of the second half of the first half, the last 10 minutes of last night's game. Kansas was lazy. North Carolina got energized. Route. Do that against a good team, you get your brains beat out. First half, brains beat out. Second half, you could see it from jump. You could see the energy, you could see the quickness, you could see the ball pressure, you could see the perimeter defense, and then, ladies and gentlemen, what did you see? Running, going to the basket, Christian Bronchied, and next thing you know, a quick 15-point lead became a quick 8-point lead. 5, 7, 3, 5, tied. You saw it.